The silence you hear from the universe isn't a rejection. It's a dial tone. You've been trying to speak a language it doesn't understand. The language of asking. The true language of creation has never been about asking. It is about accessing. Together, we will journey through history to assemble a divine blueprint scattered across the world's greatest myths. A blueprint that unlocks your own divine voice. Think back. Have you ever felt an idea so powerful it felt like it was downloaded directly into you? That wasn't your imagination. That was you, reading the first page of the blueprint. We begin with a feeling that is deeply, achingly human. The feeling of being unheard. You have followed the guidance. You have hoped. You have visualized. You have pleaded with a vast and silent cosmos, only to be met with nothing. A quiet so profound it can feel like a judgment. This feeling of spiritual failure has created a quiet epidemic of despair. We are told we are powerful, yet we feel powerless. We are told the universe is abundant, yet we feel the sharp edges of lack. The frustration is real and it is valid, but it is based on a fundamental misunderstanding. The cosmos is not silent. It is broadcasting on a frequency we have forgotten how to hear. Our inner world is filled with noise, the static of 1,000 anxieties, the echo of a parent's voice telling us we are not good enough, the relentless hum of societal expectation, the painful feedback of past failures. This is the noise that drowns out the signal. And so, we believe there is no signal at all. Our task, then, is not to shout louder into the void. It is to begin the delicate, sacred work of tuning our own inner receiver. How do we do this? We do it by assembling a blueprint, a divine blueprint, whose pages have been scattered across the great wisdom traditions of the world, a guide for clearing the static and finding the signal. Now, here's the first secret to this process, a secret hidden in the study of complex systems, known as stochastic resonance. In science, it has been observed that sometimes a weak signal can be detected more easily when there is a certain amount of background noise. The system, paradoxically, can use the random energy of the noise to amplify and clarify the coherent information of the signal. This is a profound revelation. It means your doubt, your fear, your human imperfection. It is not the enemy. It is not a flaw to be eradicated. It is the noise that, when understood and worked with, can help you tune into the subtle, persistent signal of your divine voice. As the ancient sages would remind us, the lotus does not grow in a sterile vase. It grows from the mud. The noise is your mud. You do not need to destroy your doubt. You need to tune it. And to do that, we need the first page of our blueprint, the one that answers the most fundamental question: who or what is listening? Who or what is speaking? Our search for this first page begins in the ancient lands of India. The sages of the Upanishads encoded the answer in a concept so radical, it dissolves the very idea of distance between you and the universe. What did they know about your true nature? To understand your true nature, we must abandon a simple metaphor for a profound one. The universe is not a painting that you are looking at. It is a hologram. And the most startling secret of a hologram is that every single fragment, no matter how small, contains the complete image of the whole. You are not a single isolated pixel on the vast screen of reality. You are the entire cosmic image, compressed into a single, unique point of consciousness. Your individual soul, what the Hindu sages called the Atman, is not a piece of a cosmic puzzle. It is the entire puzzle, being viewed from a single, unrepeatable perspective. This is the first page of the divine blueprint. This is the core truth of Atman as Brahman. This is not a New Age idea. It is an ancient, world-altering realization. In the sacred texts of the Upanishads, the enlightened sages, the rishis, encoded this truth in one of the great Mahavakyas, or great utterances. Tat Tvam Asi. It means simply, Thou art that. You are that. This was never meant to be a comforting phrase or a philosophical belief. It was an instruction, a fact to be verified in the profound stillness of a mind that has shed its noise and can finally perceive its own boundless nature. It is a staggering concept, and yet modern physics, in its own way, has begun to whisper the same truth. The holographic principle, a theory explored by respected physicists like Leonard Susskind and Gerard T. Hooft, suggests that the reality we perceive in 3 dimensions may be a projection of information stored on a 2-dimensional surface at the edge of the universe. We do not present this as proof. We present it as a provocative parallel. A sign that the deepest inquiries of the human mind, whether ancient or modern, are beginning to converge on the same astonishing conclusion: the part contains the whole. Perhaps you have felt this yourself in fleeting, inexplicable moments, a profound sense of déjà vu that feels more like a memory than a mistake, a moment of synchronicity so precise, so impossibly perfect that it defies all laws of probability. These are not random glitches in your mind. They are fissures in the fabric of perceived reality. They are moments where the holographic connection, the truth that all points in space and time are ultimately interconnected, briefly and beautifully reveals itself. So, here is the first page of our blueprint, confirming that you are divine in your very essence, a complete hologram of the cosmos. But this immediately raises a painful and powerful question. If this is true, why does life so often feel like a prison? Why the struggle, the pain, the limitation? The next page of the blueprint, found buried in the sands of the Egyptian desert, offers a startling answer. It provides a map of the very maze you feel trapped in. That feeling of not quite belonging here, that persistent quiet sense of exile that haunts the human heart, it is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that you remember where you came from. This is the secret revealed on the second page of our blueprint, a page written by the ancient Gnostics. They were the mystics of the early Christian world, and their story of creation is one of the most powerful psychological maps ever conceived. In their view, the material world we inhabit was not crafted by a perfect, benevolent God. It was the work of a lesser, flawed entity, a blind artisan they called the demiurge. And yet, into this imperfect material maze, fragments of the true divine reality were scattered. They called this fragment the pneuma, or the divine spark, a shard of perfect light from a realm beyond, trapped within the human form. You are that spark, and the feeling of alienation, the longing for a home you cannot name, is the spark remembering itself. Your divine voice is its echo, a compass needle quivering, always pointing the way back to your source. This was a truth so radical, so empowering, it had to be buried in the desert sands to survive. For centuries it was lost, until in 1945, a discovery at a place called Nag Hammadi unearthed a library of these forbidden texts. In one, the Gospel of Thomas, we find this extraordinary statement. Jesus said, "I am the light that is over all things. I am all. Split a piece of wood, and I am there. Lift the stone, and you will find me there." The Gnostics understood. The divine spark is not in some distant heaven. It is right here, woven into the very fabric of this material prison. If this story sounds like the plot of a modern science fiction film, it is because this ancient myth is the original. The world of matter, with its rules and limitations, is the matrix. We are Neo, sleeping in a pod, sensing that something is fundamentally wrong with reality. The systems of control, both external and internal, are the ever-watchful agents. And Gnosis, the direct intuitive knowledge that shatters the illusion. That is the red pill. It doesn't give you power. It awakens you to the power you have always had. The demiurge, then, is not some literal, monstrous being. It is a perfect metaphor for the programming of the ego. It is the voice of your culture, your education, your inherited traumas. It is the architect of the small, limited self you were taught to believe you are. So, the blueprint has now given us two critical pages. The first confirms your divine identity as a hologram of the whole. The second provides a map of the terrain you find yourself in, a divine spark in a material maze. But how do we act within this maze? How do we navigate its walls? The next page, forged in the brilliant minds of the Greek philosophers, reveals the universal laws of creation, the very physics of the blueprint itself. We now have the first 2 pages of our divine blueprint. The first page told us our identity, a hologram of the cosmos. The second gave us a map of our environment, a divine spark within a material maze. But a map is useless if you do not understand the laws of the terrain. How does one actually create change within this reality? The third page, forged in the brilliant logical minds of the ancient Greek philosophers, provides the answer. It is contained in a single powerful word, logos. This word is often translated as the word, but that translation is tragically incomplete. The logos is not a thing that is said. It is the underlying order of all things. It is the cosmic architecture, the universal intelligence, the source code of reality itself. To the Greeks, the universe was not a chaotic accident. It was a cosmos, an ordered, rational, and knowable system, and the logos was its operating system. Your divine voice, then, is your innate ability to become a conscious programmer. It is the power to write your own personal code in a way that is coherent and harmonious with the universal source code. This was not an abstract theory for armchair philosophers. It was a practical, life-altering tool used by some of the most effective leaders in history. Consider the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. Writing in his private journal, which we now know as the Meditations, he used the concept of the logos as a daily practice. For him, aligning with the logos was not about manifesting wealth or status. It was about building an unshakable inner citadel. It was his guide for acting with justice, speaking with truth, and facing unimaginable pressure with a calm, rational mind. He sought to align his personal reason with the universal reason, and in doing so, he became one of the most respected figures of the ancient world. Now, what if this ancient philosophical insight had a biological echo? What if our very cells were listening to our internal logos? This is precisely what the modern field of epigenetics suggests. Pioneering researchers like Dr. Bruce Lipton have shown that our perception of the environment, our beliefs, and our thoughts act as signals that can literally change the way our genes are expressed. Your internal monologue. Your personal logos is not a series of fleeting, inconsequential thoughts. It is a cascade of chemical information that tells your body which genetic blueprints to read and which to ignore. This provides a stunning biological basis for what the ancients knew through pure intuition. Your state of being shapes your reality, right down to the cellular level. This brings us to the mystical core of this principle, a truth expressed with perfect clarity in the esoteric tradition of Hermeticism. The very first of its 7 principles states, "The all is mind, the universe is mental." This means that the fundamental substance of reality is not dead matter, but living, conscious intelligence. It is structured, it is coherent, and like a mind, it responds to focused intention. The logos of the Greeks and the universal mind of the Hermeticists are 2 different fingers pointing to the same moon, a universe that is alive, intelligent, and listening. We now have the first 3 pages of our blueprint, identity, telling us who we are, the map showing us where we are, and the laws explaining how this reality works. But there is 1 page left, the most critical page of all, the one that requires your signature to activate the entire plan. This final secret is not guarded by sages or philosophers, but by the most audacious and rebellious figures in all of mythology. We have gathered the pages of our divine blueprint. We have our true identity as a hologram of the cosmos. We have the map of the maze we inhabit. We have the laws of creation that govern it. But a blueprint, no matter how perfect, is merely a plan. It is inert. It requires one final thing to bring it to life: a signature. So who signs this cosmic document? Who has the authority to activate it? This is the final and most closely guarded secret, and the key is not an archetype of perfection, but of rebellion. The signature belongs to the trickster creator. Look across mythology and you will find this figure everywhere. In Greece, it is Prometheus, who did not just steal fire, but stole techne, divine craft and knowledge, and brought it to humanity. In Polynesia, it is Maui, the demigod who lassoed the sun and pulled islands from the bottom of the sea. In the traditions of Native America, it is the coyote, who often brings wisdom and creation through acts of chaos and cleverness. Their methods differ, but their mission is the same. They do not petition the gods for power. They see the flaw in the system. They break the established order for the sake of a higher one, and they unleash a new potential into the world. This is not just a character in a story. As the great psychologist Carl Jung understood, the trickster is a vital, non-negotiable archetype within the human psyche. It is the sacred spark of genius that refuses to accept the status quo. It is the part of you that sees the elegant hack where everyone else sees an unbreakable wall. It is the playful, irreverent, and sometimes disruptive force that shatters old paradigms to create new ones. Your divine voice will not always sound like a serene, meditating sage. Sometimes it will sound like a brilliant rebel. Think about your own life. When was the last time you had a crazy idea that, against all logic, worked perfectly? When have you broken a rule you set for yourself, a belief like, "I could never do that," only to find a new world of freedom on the other side? When have you solved a problem with a flash of insight that seemed to come from nowhere? That was not a random thought. That was a trickster moment. That was your inner creator, your Prometheus, finding the courage to steal fire from the prison of your own limitations. So let us lay the pages out side by side. The identity of the Atman, the map of the Gnostic spark, the laws of the Logos, and now the signature of the trickster creator. Do you see the pattern now? These are not four separate, disconnected stories from the past. They are a coherent set of instructions. They are four sides of the same diamond, and that diamond is you. We have traveled across millennia. We have collected the scattered pages of a single universal user manual for the human soul. Now, let us assemble it. Let us read the blueprint not as separate stories, but as a single, coherent revelation about you. Page 1, the Holographic Self from the Hindu sages, told you what you are. You are not a fragment. You are the entire universe, experiencing itself in a single point of consciousness. Your identity is boundless. Page 2, the Gnostic map from the desert mystics, told you where you are. You are a divine spark of infinite light, navigating a material maze of limitation and forgetfulness. Your environment is a challenge, not a definition of who you are. Page 3, the Cosmic Logos from the Greek architects of thought, told you how reality works. It operates on universal law, order, and reason. It responds to the coherent signal of a mind aligned with this source code. Its mechanism is knowable. And page 4, the signature of the trickster creator from the heart of myth, tells you who must act. Not a god, not a savior, but the brilliant, courageous, and rebellious genius within you. Your activation is required. Identity, map, laws, signature. This is the complete blueprint. And here, we must confront the final guardian at the gate. The fear of ego. The belief that claiming this power is an act of arrogance. This fear is the final, most clever trick of the maze. It is the last line of code written by the demiurge to keep the spark contained. Let us be perfectly clear. The ego and the divine voice are opposing forces. The ego needs an audience. The divine voice needs only expression. The ego compares itself to others. The divine voice compares itself only to its own potential. The ego demands, "Look at me." The divine voice declares, Look at what is possible. Arrogance is the noise of the small self trying to appear big. Authenticity is the quiet, unshakable resonance of your true self, simply being what it is. To access your divine voice is not to become a god to rule over others. It is to finally remember your divine nature in order to rule over yourself. Look at your own life. The moments of struggle and doubt are not flaws in your character. They are the Gnostic spark, straining against the confines of the maze, yearning for the memory of light. Your moments of creative insight are the cosmic logos flowing through you. Your deepest, quietest sense of self, beneath all the noise, is the Atman, the hologram, remembering the whole. Your life is not a footnote in someone else's epic story. It is the blank page where all four parts of this divine blueprint converge. Your experiences, the triumphs, the heartbreaks, the questions, the certainties, they are the sacred ink you are using to write the next great myth. And its hero is you. We have assembled the blueprint. We have seen its pages scattered across time and tradition, but knowledge that is not applied is like a map that is never used to navigate. It is a beautiful artifact, but it does not change your location. So now we transition from the epic to the intimate, from the story of humanity to the story of you. We will now learn a simple, direct, and profound practice to access this blueprint in your own life. It is not meditation. It is not affirmation. We will call it blueprint journaling. It is the art of taking dictation from your own divine voice. All you will need is a notebook, a pen, and 10 minutes of uninterrupted time. The first step is called the tuning in. This is the most crucial part because it changes your entire energetic posture. Find a quiet space. Hold your notebook. Close your eyes. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. But instead of asking for guidance, you are going to declare your readiness. Say these words, either out loud or in the quiet of your mind. I am ready to access the blueprint. I am listening. Feel the shift. You are not a petitioner begging for scraps of wisdom. You are a sovereign receiver opening the channel. The second step is the transcription. At the top of a blank page, write this one single question. What is the next chapter of my myth? And then you begin to write. The only rule is this: your pen cannot stop moving. You write whatever comes, complete sentences or scattered words, profound insights or a list of your anxieties. It does not matter. Do not judge, do not analyze, do not correct your spelling. Your only job is to act as a scribe, transcribing the signal from your inner world directly onto the page. This continuous movement is designed to occupy your conscious, critical mind, the gatekeeper, so that the deeper, unfiltered wisdom of the unconscious has a chance to emerge. Do this for 5 to 10 minutes. The third and final step is the decoding. When your time is up, put the pen down and read what you have written. But you will not read it like a critic. You will read it like a treasure hunter. You are not looking for perfect grammar or coherent arguments. You are looking for energy. Read the text and pay attention to your body. When a certain word or phrase gives you a physical sensation, a shiver down your spine, a warmth in your chest, a sudden feeling of deep emotional resonance, circle it. This is your body telling you, pay attention. This is a fragment of the code. This practice may seem mystical, but it is grounded in sound psychological principles. It is a form of written free association, a technique used in psychotherapy to access the vast library of the unconscious mind. By externalizing your inner stream of consciousness without judgment, you shift from being the prisoner of your thoughts to becoming the observer of them. You learn to decode your own patterns, your own symbols, your own inner wisdom. This is not about getting a perfect divine answer on your first try. It is about opening a line of communication. It is about learning the unique language of your own soul. You are learning to read the blueprint that has been inside you all along. Our journey began by listening to the vast silence between the stars, and it ends here, in the intimate space of your own consciousness. We have traveled through ancient lands and cosmic ideas to assemble a single design. We found a blueprint written in the starlight of Hindu philosophy, hidden in the desert sands of Egypt, forged in the brilliant minds of Greece, and signed by the rebels of myth. We learned that the divine voice is not a distant deity to be worshipped, but the very core of our being, the source code of our soul, echoed in every great story ever told. This blueprint is your birthright. And so let us end with a direct and powerful instruction from the Gnostic Gospel of Thomas. That which you have within you will save you if you bring it forth from yourselves. Your divine voice is not something to be found, but to be brought forth. Your power is not something to be earned, but to be remembered and expressed. From this moment on, your life is not just a path you walk, it is a landmark you are building. Every morning you do not simply wake up, you step onto the blank page of your own sacred text, and the only question worth asking is this: will you write a mere footnote to yesterday's story, or the first sentence of a new legend? In the comments below, share one word for how this journey has made you feel. Your energy adds to our collective understanding. And if this exploration of the mysteries has resonated with you, subscribe to Mystic Sages. Let us continue to assemble the great blueprint together.